First got it when he was 6, didn't know any tricks. Matter of fact, first time he got on it, he slipped, landed on his hip and busted his. So I wasn't a fan of it. But when he asked why we weren't letting him do it, we had no good or even logical reason. Nothing. Nothing that felt consistent with what he saw, right? I have them, his mom has them, his sister has had them since she was 4 months. So it felt like no answer that we could give him would be fair.
Why are you so nervous? You'll be alright, bro.
I really just don't want it to hurt.
I mean, it's gonna hurt a little bit.
Like, I don't want it to hurt a lot.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine.
Can you, like, describe the pain on my arm?
It's really hard to do that.
So for the last year, our son has been asking us to get his ears pierced. And we finally decided that he could do it for his 13th birthday. So I took him to this really nice, legit body piercing place, right? Not those joints that we had back in New York when I was growing up, when it was some random lady who had just got done braiding someone's hair and then had a tax refund appointment right after she poked my ears with what looked like a glue gun. Nah, this was a dope spot with like a tattoo parlor vibes. The kind of place that you needed an appointment in order to be seen. And the artist had like plaques and degrees on the wall for getting the job done. Shouts to the tax person, body piercer slash braider. Right, here's the thing. Going with my son to the shop, sitting with him, watching his nerves just before getting his ears pierced, and then seeing the excitement that he did this thing. It was strange, y'all. It felt foreign, and I couldn't understand why. And it wasn't bad, it was just new. And I wasn't sure what was behind all of that. But I was certain that figuring it out was gonna make me a better dad.
Real, it's gonna be quick. Promise, I promise.
Yeah,
Less
buddy.
than stubbing your toe. Promise.
Worse than stubbing my toe?
Less.
Oh my god, that would be awful. Flat on your back. Holy crap.
You're good, buddy. Here, flat. Get straight.
And breathe.
You're gonna be right. I'm right here, buddy.
Tiny pitch. Okay. Tiny. You're gonna be fine.
I'm right here, buddy. I'm right here.
You know, parents often talk about letting their kids be who they are. And y'all, for real, man, that sounds beautiful and inspiring, but what does it look like? Especially when the kid doesn't know who they are, right? Parenting kids that are trying to figure it out feels strange. It's uncomfortable and unnerving most of the times. And it's wildly difficult to just let them be who they are because that feels messy and unpredictable. And so oftentimes what feels easier is parenting them in a way that in essence just produces clones. You parent them in a way that they like what you like, they desire what you desire, they act the way that you would act, they think the way that you would think. We steer them towards decisions that we would make, we question their choices or slightly shame them for having their own thoughts or preferences, but not in an obvious way, right? That would be wild. We wouldn't shame them in an obvious way. No, we do it in subtle ways, it seems. Saying things like, yo, you sure you want to wear that? Or why don't you wear your hair down instead? Or yo, why don't you go out for basketball instead of fill in the blank? You don't want to outright tell them that you don't like what their decisions are or that you prefer them to do something else, so you disguise it with questions, hoping that they would change their mind to do what you want them to do. And let's be honest, right? Asking those questions is the same as saying, this is what I would do, or that's not how it's done in our family, or this is what I want for you. But why are we so uncomfortable with others making decisions that we wouldn't make? Why does it feel like we have such low tolerance for the people closest to us being different than us? You know, I got my ears pierced at 16, and my experience was very different than my son's. My parents were really opposed to it, but they also weren't going to die on that hill. But I still paid for it myself, and it was my friend Aris that went with me, not my parents. My parents couldn't bear the idea of me making a decision that didn't reflect one that they would make, so they weren't willing to experience that with me. Now, there could have been tons of reasons why they didn't go, right? In their defense, right? My dad could have been working because he worked a lot. My mom could have been just getting home from school. She was a teacher's aide or prepping dinner. So I get it. But whatever it was, they were okay not being there. They were okay not seeing for themselves what my life could look like when I made a decision for myself. You know, being there with my son, I was able to see him nervous and then excited. I was able to see his body rise with pride as he took in a moment that was the result of a decision that he made, not one that Papi made for him. I gotta be honest, y'all. That was beautiful and terrifying. Beautiful because my son will always have this memory to cherish. He'll always remember Papi with him when he made this big decision for himself. Terrifying because, well, maybe we were never allowed to be ourselves. Maybe we're not comfortable with ourselves. Maybe we never knew how to be ourselves apart from what others wanted us to be. Maybe because growing up, the decision we thought would make our parents proud or love us were the ones that they wanted for us. Not necessarily the decisions that we wanted for ourselves. And now, that's showing up in our parenting. Do you remember middle school, having to figure out your life? Do you remember being a teenager and calculating and measuring every room that you walked into, wondering which version of yourself you gotta be in order to be liked? I'm realizing that this phase of someone's life, this middle school teenage phase, it could be really hard for both your teenager and for you. But what if this phase is not about having answers to every question that your teenager has? Or offering every critique you think they need to hear, because then who else will tell them, right? Come on now. But what if this phase, what if the win of this phase is that they know that you are there, that they have you present and available? What if that was the win? Ready to listen to every crazy idea and experience, every heartbreak and rejection, every moment of confusion? What if the win was that they knew that you were there and available for all of it? What if they knew that they could be something other than what makes you comfortable and it wouldn't threaten your love for them? You know, I've had to normalize different and messy and unpredictable in this season of parenting. I've had to confront my insecurities and my wounds. I've had to celebrate the things that I had growing up, but also grieve the things that I didn't have. And listen, every teenager is different for sure. But this unclear, unsettling phase seems to be inevitable. But perhaps you are becoming more of yourself right alongside your kid.
Happy birthday, dear Josiah. Happy birthday to you.